Hello Sagittarius and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a general read for the second week of October, which will be the 6th to the 12th of October. Today is Sunday the 5th that I'm recording this, but please remember, like always, that readings are timeless, energy and messages are timeless. So you may be listening to this a little bit later. This may have already happened with you, or it may not resonate with you at all. They are general readings, but please, if they do resonate with you, if I've somehow tapped into your energy, let me know in the comment box below. Let me know how we're doing as a collective, how our energy is flowing and coming through in these messages. So we're going to get started. Oh, I should mention that you might hear the birds going a little bit crazy in the background. So we've just had a 3-day heat wave. And because I live out here in the countryside, I really noticed on these really hot, horrible days, all of the animals fell quiet. There was no sounds. It was like everybody went into hiding. And just that rest, recovery stage. But today, where we've got some cloud cover, we're hoping to get some rain. And I've just noticed that all of the birds have come back. And they just seem to be celebrating life with even more zest than what they usually do. So hopefully you can hear them in the background, hear their joy, and hopefully it's not too distracting for you. So we're going to get started. I'm going to pull some oracle cards for you for this second week of October, and I'm going to pull them from the Magical Spirit Oracle. It's a deck that I absolutely love. So let's see what messages we have here for Sagittarius for the second week of October 2025. Wow. So firstly, we have the Witch. It's such a beautiful card. And this card says, I wasn't always like this, you know. I had to create who I am. Now that's a really powerful card. It's a really powerful card in this time of reflection, especially if we've been feeling like we've been going through, the hard yards where we feel like, and I think most Sagittarius over this last year, if not the last 2 years, they have been going through what feels like the hard yards, like they've just been facing tests and challenges constantly, hoping to get on top, like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And I'm a Sagittarius too, and I can definitely resonate with that. But the beauty is that throughout all of these challenges, a Sagittarius still doesn't lose that optimism, that positivity, that drive. And I feel like this Witch card is saying that for us to be able to move through these struggles, move through these challenges, keep a smile on our face and keep the show on the road, it isn't luck. We are a very lucky sign, but it isn't luck. We've had to do the work. We've had to create, for better choice of a word, this machine that we've become. So that's quite beautiful. Now our second card, the Protectress. Your energy is valuable. Protect it well. And I also feel like, as a general Sagittarius thing, to give our energy away so freely, to give, to, I guess, never give up, to never see the bad, the negative, that can be a blessing and a curse, and it can become quite draining. So I guess just like the birds have been doing over the last few days, that when the conditions aren't perfect for us to be able to really sustain ourselves, we need to take a step back. We need to go and hide in the shade. We need to go into hibernation. We need to do what it takes to protect our energy so that we can come back bigger and better. Interesting. I'm going to pop those up here and we're going to move on to the reading. So So today I'll be using the Mystic Psyche Tarot. Once again, a beautiful deck of cards. And I just feel like this deck is absolutely perfect for what feels to me like the birth of a new spring today. So let's get started. What messages do we have? Oh, what messages do we have for Sagittarius? I could just feel there's just palpable energy in this deck right now. So I won't get ahead of myself, but wow. The Sun as the first card, and I just really feel like I need to continue shuffling. So let's shuffle, let's get this spread out. Whew. What messages do we have for Sagittarius, second week of October 2025? What messages do we have for Sagittarius for this second week of October 2025? The Knight of Pentacles. What messages do we have for Sagittarius? Now, Sagittarius, as I was saying in the intro, it does feel, you know, there is this energy surrounding a lot of my Sagittarius, my Sagittarius readings. A lot of the Eight of Swords. Exactly what I'm saying. So there has been a lot of energy surrounding my Sagittarius readings for the last year, if not more, where it just does, it's a little bit too many, where it's just, my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, we're going to take those because I feel like my hands are shaking right now. So what we've got, we have the Sun, the Knight of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords, the Three of Wands in reverse, the Queen of Cups, and the Knight of Cups. So, Sagittarius, this is a pretty wild spread. So what we have right here, where we are, what you need to embrace right now, and I don't think that I got to finish what I was saying earlier because the cards were just buzzing. I feel super buzzed. But I think just quickly what I was trying to say was it has been this one step forward, two steps back kind of feeling for most Sagittarius this year, whether it feels like a test or just this ongoing slog that never moves past. But coming into this reading, this fills me with so much hope for you. So where we are, what you need to embrace right now, we have the Sun. The Sun. So this is pretty much the universe giving you a big high five. The Sun is joy, clarity, radiance, and confidence. You're going to be stepping into a season of expansion, or if not expansion, at least optimism. The Sun is giving us that, hey, it's not all doom and gloom. It's giving us that Sagittarius optimism that we've been hanging on to, but over gradual time, it's just been dulling just a little bit, and we are getting our light back. So if things have felt really heavy lately, or possibly longer than lately for some of you, well, this card's just saying that light is breaking through. Light is coming through. The Sun is rising. You're allowed to embrace the happiness now. Even if the world, it still feels a little bit messy, you're allowed to shine. You're allowed to be seen and to trust that good things are unfolding. And I think that's what it means. You know, you haven't always been this way. You weren't born resilient, strong, powerful. You had to create it. And how you created that was through this never-ending optimism, this unending belief in the magic of life. And this is starting to come back. It's really starting to come back. So That's a great start to the reading, Sagittarius. So now we're moving on to the Knight of Pentacles. What you need to let go of in order to allow this sun to shine on through. So this guy, he's all about steady progress, hard work, and, well, sometimes which Sagittarius often struggle with is being detail orientated, sticking to the plan, making a plan, which I know for some of you isn't the easiest thing to do. But the Knight of Pentacles, it's a little bit more of the adult of the tarot deck. So I think him being the rigid structure that it is, in this position in your reading, it's actually telling me that you might need to loosen your grip on how you think things need to unfold right now. You know, you've been in the dark, you've been in the muck, you've kind of lost your general positivity, your general, the universe is going to work out, and maybe in that darkness you've formulated a concept of how you're going to get out of this. Maybe you've been grinding, maybe you've been hustling, maybe you've just been clinging to a system or a structure that doesn't work for you anymore, that isn't you anymore. And, you know, I feel like we have been through this period of shedding. You know, that darkness over the last year has been kind of wallowing down this dark hallway of knowing everything that you used to be, but none of those tactics, none of those things are really working anymore. And really struggling how to move forward when you're in that limbo state of not being who you used to be, but also not really having a clear picture of who you're supposed to become, which is why we need to remember that we create who we are. And we're creating that. So let's move on. Let's move on. We're going on to the Eight of Swords. So this is really interesting that we've got this in your strengths area, because at first glance, this card looks like absolutely anything but strength, okay? It's pretty much this person here is being blocked by the swords. They're in a bit of a haunted forest here. Like, it's quite a dark card. And I think as a strength, this is showing that you've got a really amazing ability to see through your own illusions. You know, you're learning to recognize those inner stories that have kept you small. Those stories that you've been telling yourself to maintain one form of identity. This card is saying that you have the ability to see through that. You have the wisdom to see through that. And you have the magic to be able to rewrite those stories, to create who you are. So this card in your strengths is actually really powerful. That level of self-awareness that you possess is actually really powerful. It's saying that you're waking up and tying that back to, you know, the darkness of the last few months, the last year, the last couple of years, where, you know, things did work for you and then they stopped. And you kept your positivity, but eventually that drained, and you're holding on to a concept of who you used to be, what made you amazing, what made life work. And this card's saying that, hey, you can smell the bullshit. You can see what you're doing, these self-sabotaging things that you're doing, keeping yourself in an old form, but for the sun, for the light to really break through, you need to realize what traits you are holding on to so tightly that aren't actually working for you in your best interest. And, you know, I think that's where this protectress comes in as well. Your energy is valuable. Protect it well. So stop putting your energy into outdated beliefs. Stop holding so tightly to a version of yourself that you know is not working for you anymore. Come back to this trust, this blind trust, this optimism that you can create a new person. You can create a new life for yourself. You've done it time and time and time again. So I think your strength is really that level of self-awareness. Being able to, it reminds me of this quote that I have lived by, and I can't think of it. I can think of the general gist, but I'm not getting the right words. Just give me a minute. True change begins when you become tired of your own bullshit or something like that. And me as a Sagittarius, that really resonates, because with the optimism that I have, I can keep telling myself these outdated stories and believe them. I never lose hope on those old stories or that old identity. But at the same time, I can see through my bullshit. And when it becomes too much, I know what to do. And I don't think Sagittarius, I don't think we're made for holding on too tight. I think we're made for fast action, quick action. So having that cut and dry, getting tired of your own bullshit, demanding change, demanding excellence from yourself, demanding a good life and nothing better. It's a really, really powerful thread that's happening. Spread. Thread. Like a thread of stories that we tell each other. So, in our fears, we have the Three of Wands reversed. So, I think this tells me that we might just be having that little bit of fear of our big dreams, our future plans, worried that stepping into this new identity, this new role, really releasing our hold on everything that we know works for us and stepping into the great unknown, the great unknown of not having a clear direction. We're shit scared that it's not going to work out, that it's not going to pan out, that it's not going to be as big as our life used to be, It's not going to be as flamboyant, as glamorous, as amazing, as satisfying. But we're always changing and we're always growing. Maybe it's this quiet fear that maybe you've waited too long. You've been holding on to the old you for too long, that you've lost a bit of your shine, and maybe you've left it too long. But it's never too long, is it? Change has been banging at the door for a long time for some of us. It's been banging at the door and it's not going to stop banging. Eventually we need to open that door. I think this card's really representing the fear of the unknown, or the fear of delays or disappointment. You might be hesitating to take the next step because, what if it doesn't work out? But this isn't working out. And this hasn't been working out. And we can see that. We know that deep down. We can tell that this isn't working anymore. The sun is there. It's on the horizon. It's waiting. It's waiting to shine. But we need to let go. We need to let go. We need to believe that we can recreate ourselves time and time again. And we need to just really step in and look at this fear. All of these fears that are holding us back to moving into a new direction, of finally saying, all right, that's not working. I don't know what's next, but this one's getting to me a little bit. Look, I don't know whose reading this is, but this is a really, really powerful, quite emotional reading. So, let's see what we have to celebrate. Okay. Oh, and I love this for you. So the Queen of Cups is showing up in the what you need to celebrate, rejoice, put some more energy into. And honestly, it just feels like this is just a big emotional gold star sticker from the universe. The Queen, she's intuitive, she's compassionate, she's emotionally mature, and she is deeply, deeply in tune with herself. So what are you celebrating? You're celebrating your capacity to feel it all, because I know that we are all feeling a lot right now. You're celebrating your depth, your empathy. Maybe you've been showing up for others in big ways, or finally learning to hold space for yourself. And this is everything that the Queen of Cups represents. So you're celebrating your emotional intelligence. This voice inside that says, hey, no, this doesn't feel right. You're celebrating all of the amazing things about you that, yeah, you are holding on to tightly, but you're also celebrating the way that you don't need to leave all of these amazing, amazing traits, your kindness, your empathy, your self-awareness. You don't need to leave all of those traits in the past. So you need to really celebrate what makes you you, and whatever you're going through and whatever traits or habits that you need to drop doesn't mean you have to drop all of these good parts of you. It just means that you need to find different ways, different avenues, different lifestyles, different jobs, different relationships, whatever it is for you that you're needing to change. You will still have all these amazing traits that make you you, but you're just going to have to find another avenue, a healthy, supportive avenue that lets those traits shine. You're not losing you, but whatever situation that you've been in, it's not working. And it's actually starting to dull those parts of yourself that you do love. So yeah, maybe take some time to remind yourself all of the amazing things that make you amazing. Not the things that you need to drop, not your habits, not your potential relationships or workplaces or living situations or whatever's going on. Don't focus on those. Focus on the things that make you. And then maybe it's going to make this fear of the unknown a little bit scarier, because you are carrying the core of you into this next step. You know, you're not going in completely alone. You're not going in completely blank. You're going in as you, but into, potentially a really frightening, possibly really lonely for a lot of you right now, new start. But that's, the Queen of Cups is amazing. To celebrate the Queen of Cups and to just know that you've got this. You've always had this. You've always had this. And you can have this again. Remember how amazing you are, and don't lose sight of that. So our last card, the Knight of Cups, is just what we really need to think about, something we could contemplate for all of this. And the Knight of Cups is a bit of a dreamer. He's romantic, he's idealistic at heart, he follows his passions, sometimes a little bit too impulsively, but just always with that full emotion. And I just feel like you're being asked to reflect on what your heart really wants. So not what your head wants, not what you think you know. You know, are you pursuing something meaningful, or are you just following this script? Are you allowing yourself to dream big, take risks, know that you can rebuild, or are you keeping your desires small because you're afraid? You're afraid of the unknown. This card saying, let your heart lead. Remember what you're made of. Don't run away without a compass. Maybe, just see through a little bit of those toxic traits, but let your heart lead. Whether you're chasing love, you're chasing creativity, you're chasing connection, or you're just chasing something different, but you don't really know what you're chasing, then take some time. Take some time and think on it, because the sun is there. The sun is coming. The sun is waiting on the horizon, but you need to stop this fear. You need to become aware that this isn't working for you. And I think deep down we all know that it's not working. Holding on to what you used to be, or holding on to situations that don't allow the best of you to shine through. So maybe it's just time to take a risk. Maybe it's time to start trusting yourself again, to take a risk, to make the boundaries that you need to make. And remember, you are the witch. You have created who you are. You will create who you are again. Oh, wow, Sagittarius, what a powerful reading. Yeah, look, I hope for whoever that reading was that you got something out of it. It was, yeah, really quite something. So let me know in the comments below. And if that is you, and if that was your reading, no matter what you're going through, no matter what level of stagnancy you have found yourself in right now, yeah, remember your beauty, remember your power. I wish you all the best, the love and light. So have an amazing week, Sagittarius. Thanks for joining.